Welcome back, y'all. It's another edition of the We Do This Too Outdoors podcast. And as always, we are presented to you in partnership with brands that we feel represent the very best of the outdoor industry. So before we get started, we'd like to give a special shout out to Moultrie Products, Ullers Archery, Threads Custom Bowstrings, G5 Outdoors, Blackburn Apparel Company, Deer Pip Scents and Lures, Vision Clothing, Bluebird Waterfowl Company, Angry Chicken Outdoors, Alps Outdoors, and last but certainly not least, a special shout out to the good folks over at Briley's for leaving a legacy of shooting innovation. Whether you need new cameras to elevate the scouting experience, new arrows, or anything for your archery setups, clothing, scent, or whatever it may be, as a supporter of the podcast, you can use promo code WDTT promo. That's WDTT promo for 15% off anything on the website at ullersarchery.com. Some exclusions may apply. With that being said, let's dive into another episode of the We Do This Too Outdoors podcast with your host, Mr. Courtney Williams. What's up, guys? Welcome to another edition of the We Do This Too Outdoors podcast. I'm your host, Courtney Williamson. I've got a super special guest today on, Mr. Jerry from Custom Gear Modifications. He is the man, and I mean the man when it comes to building you a custom saddle for getting out in the woods. Mr. Jerry, how you doing, brother?
Good, man. How about yourself?
Doing great, man. Love your work. Love what you do.
Appreciate it.
Definitely wanted to get you on the podcast just to talk a little bit about your business, kind of how you got started, and how people can come to you for custom saddles. And guys, when I tell you, I'm not saying this just because I got this man on the podcast, but his saddles are custom fit to you, and he can literally take a blade of grass from outside and make you a saddle with it. Anything you send him, he can make it out. He can make you a saddle out of it. So, Mr. Jerry, introduce yourself, and we'll get this thing rocking and rolling.
Yeah, Jerry Grosset, Custom Gear Modifications. We are veteran-owned. We pride ourselves on being American-made and using American-made materials. Been in the business here for about 4 years now. I've been saddle hunting for probably, close to 10. And we kind of we're a small little company. This is my home shop. It's all family operated. We have my daughters work here. A couple of the neighbors work here. We just decided to do that so that they could have some flexible schedules for their work, so the grandkids have their parents around. And we kind of realized that there's a little bit of a niche in doing custom saddles. You know, there's a lot of off the shelf saddles out there, and some folks decide they want to do a little upgrade and do something personal. So they'll reach out to us, and we'll hit them up and get them squared away.
Sounds good. So we're going to go back to the very beginning. So what made you want to start building custom saddles and platforms? Or you just make the saddles, but you have platforms as well, correct?
Well, we carry somebody else's platforms, but everything else we make in-house.
Okay.
Yeah. We started as doing DIY stuff. We were, me and my son, we were kind of heavy into the Saddle Hunter forum, and this is back when, there wasn't anything really commercially available. So a lot of guys, we come from the days when everybody was doing the sit and drag modifications and wearing rock climbing harnesses and all that kind of stuff. Right. And we're doing a lot of modifications to things, just personally. And then we started producing some very mobile hunting specific bags and accessories. And my son talked me into starting a business up, and we did that. And it did really well on the bags and stuff for about 6 months. And then we decided we had an idea for a saddle design. So we put that together, and we took it through the rigmarole of getting all the third-party testing and stuff done like that, and put that out there. And ever since, it's been kind of looking backwards.
That's awesome, man. So
yeah.
Were you always kind of like a tinkerer, gear mod guy growing up, or did this come kind of later in life?
No, I've always been. I was in the military. I was an EOD tech, and we didn't have a lot of very specific equipment. So you kind of had to come up with your own equipment in a lot of cases. So we did that. And as a youngster, I was always tinkering around. And ever since then, I think I spend more time tinkering with hunting gear than I actually do hunting.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm kind of the same way, man. You
Yeah.
know, I used to shoot some ASA archery a couple of years back with my best friend, and I'd go out and shoot, great on Saturday and Sunday, and then like Monday morning, I'd be on TikTok or Instagram, and like some new mod would come out for your bow, and I'm like, ooh, let me try that. And then the
Yeah.
next Saturday, I'd shoot awful, and I'm like, why did I change this? I was shooting fine with it, but
I know it. That's what got me out of compounds. I'm a traditional. I'm a recurve guy, and I
oh
have
no,
been for probably 25 years. And it's because I remember I was in Alabama. I was at Redstone Arsenal in Alabama, and I walked about a mile and a half, 2 miles back, and I had a PSC Carrera back then. It was like one of the really short bows. Um, and a little twig had gotten in between my string and my cam, and just popped the string off the cam. And that's when I decided, all right, I'm not messing all this high tech equipment anymore. And went back to a recurve, and that's what I've been doing ever since. So if I bump my sights, that means I banged my head somehow.
heck yeah. So you're in Music City. You're in Nashville, Tennessee, correct?
No, we're in Powell, just outside of Knoxville.
Okay,
Yeah.
got you. I thought Trey told me you were in Nashville for some reason.
No, we're just down here in Powell, not too about an hour and a half, 2 hours away from Nashville.
Okay, so how did that become the home base? Are you from there? Or?
No, I'm from Chesapeake, Virginia Beach area, Virginia. Then we scattered and went out and did the military thing for 14 years, and then we came back to Tennessee, or came to Tennessee for a civilian job. I was a government contractor.
Okay,
We loved it here, but then work actually took us back to Virginia Beach. Then we got there, and within months, we said, nope, we like the mountains better. So we came back here, and it's been home for the last, I guess, 10 years we've been back here now. Yeah, about
okay.
10 years we've been back here now. Love it. Love
Awesome.
Tennessee.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Tennessee myself. My dad actually grew up right outside of Memphis,
Oh,
a
okay.
little town called Somerville, Tennessee.
I've heard of it.
Yep, it's actually the next county over is actually where Isaac Hayes was born, and
Yeah.
you have Nutbush, Tennessee's right around there. Tina
Yeah.
Turner, where she grew up, it's
Yeah.
all right around there. So,
That's right. You still got
uh,
family there?
oh yeah, we
Mhm.
visit quite a bit. Well, I would say quite a bit. We try to visit at least twice a year because it's about a good 5 hours from us from where I live here in Kentucky.
Ah,
But, we try to visit them at least twice a year and just hang out with the family and everything like that. But we
yeah,
we
I didn't
love it.
realize you were in Kentucky. I thought you were in Texas for some reason.
Not Jay's in Texas, Trey's in Texas. I'm the lonely one here in Kentucky. So
Yeah. Holding it down in Kentucky. It's good.
holding it down in Kentucky, man.
Yeah.
So,
Them
but yeah,
Texas,
man. Do what now?
I was gonna say them guys in Texas don't understand the plight of the Kentucky hunter, man. All them mountains and hills and
It's well where I hunt primarily it's primarily like rolling hills, but when
okay.
you get into like the eastern part of the state,
Yeah.
that's when you get into like Appalachia. Like
Yep.
it gets different over in there, and
Yeah, that's where I hunt. Just up above Lafayette, Tennessee, up right at the Kentucky border.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
right there. Yeah, you know how it is.
It's crazy.
Yeah, man. So for the people that are new to saddles and platforms, et cetera, like what makes your custom gear stand out compared to somebody that just wants to go get one off the shelf?
So we're kind of we get a lot of new guys, but we're really more of folks that get into a saddle and they're looking for very specific things that they want in a saddle, and they'll come to us for upgrades. But we get a lot of new guys too. I think what makes us stand out is we're other than being small and American made, we've had the same saddle design that we've been tweaking, and we're constantly tweaking the same design and dialing it in. You'll notice that a lot of the bigger guys, they have saddles that'll be out for a year or two, and then they'll come out with a new one and come out with a new one. All of ours are based on one design that we've just been tweaking and tweaking and tweaking. So we're really constantly dialing it in, trying to make it to where it fits most people as good as it can. No saddle out there is perfect for everybody, including ours. So we've got over 4,000 data points of people that we've talked to, that we actually have collected all this information regarding mainly you're looking at waist size when you're trying to get into a saddle. We look at your waist size, we look at your height, we look at your inseam, we look at your measurements around your belly, we look at the measurements around your rear end, and try to really dial in how to make the saddle fit you. So you're going to experience more comfort in the tree, especially for long sits.
Yeah. And I know that you told me, Trey and Jay, that basically we could send in basically anything
Oh yeah,
from pants to jackets or whatever,
yeah.
and you can make a saddle out of it. So what's like the wildest or strangest like request that you've ever gotten?
Oh man, there's so many. There's so many. I think probably other than we do a lot of military uniforms, and those are probably our favorite. But
Mhm.
the strangest was a guy sent in, his grandfather was a preacher, and he sent in his grandfather's jacket that he used to preach in all the time. And we made a saddle out of that. And this guy was a Pentecostal preacher, so he had it dry cleaned all the time. But when you get into cutting into some of those pads, especially in the armpits, you release all sorts of stuff. Uh, so that was probably one of the craziest ones. We had a guy up in Canada send us down some seat covers for his car that he liked the pattern and the feel of. So we made a saddle out of that. Guy sent us his grandmother's curtains. We did those. And other than that, a lot of wool, like the old the wool rich red and black plaid.
Mhm.
So several of those, a lot of military uniforms, and a lot of family members' hunting clothes.
Okay, so kind of a plethora of everything. You
I
kind of
think
kind
the
of
craziest one we did was we got a request to do one in the colors of. Let me think of the the guy with the red mask and the black eyes. It's real. Wears all the leather. What's his name?
Is he a wrestler?
No, superhero guy, TV guy. Ryan Reynolds plays him all the time. I cannot remember the thing's name.
Daredevil.
Nope. Nope. It's the one that's a little dirty.
I have no idea.
Deadpool. Deadpool.
Deadpool.
Yeah,
Okay, gotcha.
yeah. We did a Deadpool saddle.
That's cool.
Yeah,
So you got a bunch of requests from just
yeah, little,
normal things that most people would think of to just like out of the box things. Like, oh,
yeah,
let me send him this.
yeah. A little bit of everything, and then a lot of guys like the proprietary camo patterns, your First Lights, your Badlands, your Sitkas, things like that. And we're not licensed carriers of their camouflage patterns, but they buy shirts and send them to us, and that allows us to be able to put that pattern on their saddle.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm a big bottom line guy. I mean, 95% of my wardrobe that I go in the woods is bottom land. It
Yeah,
just
you can't beat bottom lane, old school bottom lane.
can't beat it.
No, we do a lot of it.
Oh, yeah, man. So someone comes in the shop, hands you a saddle from like, you know, Cabela's, one of
Yeah.
the big box stores. Are you the type guy that looks at it and be like, I can make this better? Or are you one of the guys that's like, well, that's decent, but let me make you a custom set?
No, we've done add-ons to other manufacturers' saddles as long as we are not interfering with the structure or the chassis of the saddle. I'm always careful to anybody that brings a saddle in. I let them know, you need to check with that manufacturer, their warranty requirements. If I was to sew an additional row of molly onto it, or if I was to put leg loop extensions or something along those lines, you need to check with them first. But yeah, we'll do that as well. We've also put camouflage on several other manufacturers' saddles. We actually had one guy bring a saddle in and he wanted coyote fur put on it. We did that for him. But yeah, so we're not pitching ours. I mean, if they got something they like and they just want to tweak it a little bit, we're happy to do that.
Gotcha. So your designs come from, I guess, a lot of trial and error.
Yes, sir. Yes,
So
sir. They
how
do.
how much of your designs have come from your customers telling you like, hey, this saddle's great, but if you add this, this, and this, it would make it even better?
Really none. If they want that done to their specific saddle, we'll do that. But we find that our design as is it fits the majority of the people that have tried it out.
Okay.
We went through 17 different prototypes of it originally to get the design to where we wanted it. We have a few patent pending items on the saddle that kind of make it unique. But if somebody else wants something else done, we're happy to do that, as long as we're not changing the structure of our saddle, because that's what really is tested. That's what we went through third party testing for. That's what we did all the pull tests on, was how the chassis is made, how it's sewn, and how the panel of the saddle is set up in the pleat. Everything else we're fine with modifying if somebody thinks that's going to work out for
I understand. So, as a hunter yourself,
them.
when you're getting out there in the woods, when you find time, I know you're probably super busy, but like what's your hunting setup like personally? Are you more of like a minimalist guy where you try to pack in as least as possible, or do you have certain things that you like to take with you and make sure you have before you get in
Yeah.
there?
I'm like we talked about earlier. I'm a fiddler and a fidgeter. So if I have a bunch of stuff with me, I'm gonna play with it. I'm kind of kind of a minimalist guy. I mean, everything I carry is I got actually right here. This is my full setup in the woods.
Nice.
Everything I carry, it's my saddle. I use ring of steps. I'll carry a monocular or a rangefinder. I use 4 steps on my ring of steps, and I'm perfectly fine with ring of steps. I like them. I like it because I can place them around branches that I can utilize the branches as well. I'm using one of our sidewinder saddles that I've actually trimmed down. I don't carry any molly on my saddle because I don't put any bags on it, so it's super light. I mean, it's not that I like the weight. I'm a big boy. If I want to drop a pound off my carrying load, I'll just lose a pound. I just like carrying the least amount of stuff into the woods as possible.
I understand.
It probably ties into laziness.
Hey, I'm the same way. I make sure I have, snacks always go first, and
Yes,
a
sir.
couple extra
Little
flashlights,
goody.
water. But other than that, I'm trying to pack in as light as possible because I sweat like a mule anyway. So I'm
Yeah,
not
me
trying
too.
to pack a whole lot of stuff in the woods where I'm out of breath. I got my bow in my hand, like Lord.
Yeah. So I know it. I'm the same way, and I too TC climb, so that fits down that little setup well too. So everything I need for climbing and everything is just that little bag.
Right.
If
Yeah,
I don't have it, I don't need it.
I was having a conversation with a buddy of mine the other day, and we're both, bigger guys, and
Yeah.
I'm used to hunting. I've always been used to hunting in ground blinds, and so he's like, "Man, what's the thing about these saddles?" I said, "Man, saddles is all about mobility, man." I said, you can get in and out of trees really fast. I said, this rope system, once you figure it out how to do it, I said, you can literally lean back in this thing and go to sleep. I
You
said,
can.
I was scared to death to try one, but when we were in Oklahoma, Trey made me try one to get in one, and because I was scared, I was like, Jerry's making me a custom saddle. I'll probably never use it because I'm scared to death of getting up in a tree. He said, "Man, we got to get you up in a tree." He's like, Gary, Jerry made us these, and we got to use them. So once I, figured everything out and leaned back, I was like, "Oh, this is really comfortable." And then once I figured out that you can move in these things, you can swivel and pretty much take a shot anywhere with your bow.
Yeah.
I say that's a game changer. And like a
Yeah.
lot of places where you think, oh, I had to set a ground blind here, or I've got to set this up here. You can find you a tree pretty much anywhere, and in 10 minutes or less, you're up in a tree and you're hunting.
You really can, man. It's just initially for new guys, it's a matter of getting over the initial pucker factor of leaning away from the tree and trusting your gear. But all this stuff nowadays, even some of the cheaper stuff, is perfectly fine and then some for what we're doing. when you're climbing 20 feet up a tree and then leaning away from it, um,
Mm-hmm.
that can make guys nervous. So it's just a matter of getting in there, giving it a shot, and getting comfortable with it, and getting comfortable with equipment and trusting it. Once you do that, you can't beat it. I think we looked at our data set. We find that I think it's somewhere in the 80 percentile of people with lower back issues that have hunted in stands that have gone to saddles that we've talked to much prefer a saddle for lower back issues. It's just more comfortable for them because you have a little more range of motion as you're waiting.
Yeah, my I've got a friend. He actually lives somewhere close to Chattanooga,
Oh, okay.
Tennessee. I'm not sure what town that is, but he's had a lot of trauma to his back. He's had
Yeah,
car wrecks and just over the years. He's 50 something years old,
yeah,
and tree stands just killed his back. He's been
yeah.
to chiropractors after chiropractor, and he just happened to be at the NWTF not this year but last year, and he was talking to the guys from Tethered, and he was like, "Hey man, I really want to try these saddles, but I've got lower back pain." And the guys goes, "Dude, if you got lower back pain, saddle's the best thing for you,
It
whether it's
is, man.
our saddle or somebody else's." And they had a little setup there for him that he can get in there and try everything out. And he leaned back in this thing, and he was like, "Bro," he just kind of looked at me, and because I met him there, we kind of just walked around for a little bit. He said, "Dude, my back pain's gone."
Yeah,
I said, "What?" He said, "Dude, when I lean back in this thing, like I can't, there's no pain." He's like, "When I stand up and walk, it's there. And then when I'm sitting in a tree stand or sitting in the ground behind those chairs," he said, "when I lean back," he said, "that's gone." So he ended up hunting, getting a saddle while he was there. I'm not sure what brand he bought, but he ended up harvesting a nice deer last year, and I think he killed one in velvet this year. And
nice.
he's in love with them now,
Yeah,
man. And
yeah. It's
you
just,
know,
it's just making that initial jump and trying it out. And
yeah,
and it could be a rabbit hole. There's so much gear and so many little knickknacks and trinkets you can get into, and
hmm,
there's really four things you need. You need a way up the tree, you need a saddle to sit in, a platform to stand on, and something to hang your gear on. That's it broke down into just the four major things that you need. Now you can chase rabbit holes on each one of those and
right,
fill your rucksack full of stuff, or just keep it simple. A
right,
little
for
bit
sure.
for everybody.
Yeah, I actually have a funny story. I was outside, right outside my window here, and my best friend's a big saddle hunter and everything. So he's like, "I've got to show you how to use this." He said, "Mr. Jerry was nice enough to make this for you. We're about to show you how to use it." I was like, "Cool, let's roll." And I know what I did now, but I was about maybe 3 foot off the tree, not high or anything, just learning how to use my gear and lean back, and I kept going.
Oh boy.
And lesson learned. So we figured everything out from there. So my best friend was like, "All right, you keep going higher." So I went a little bit higher. So I went to about 7 feet, lean back, good. 10 feet, good. 15, good. And I
Yeah.
just, every now and then I'll go out there or go out to his farm, and I'll pick a tree and I'll climb up, 5, 10 feet, and just make sure, I'm good and feel comfortable.
Yeah, that's
Uh,
it.
and like you said, once people get over that initial pucker factor, as you called it,
Yeah.
um, that me trying something new, especially me, I'm 300 some pounds, so it was real nerve wracking for me to get up there.
Yeah.
Especially, I'm scared to death of heights now, anyway. So it's like once I learned to trust my gear, like you said, like it's not the gear's not it's not gonna fail. You're good.
No,
Like
gears not gonna fail you. Yeah,
it,
it's our mistakes, or the mistakes we make are the only ones that are gonna get us hurt. So it's good
right,
to get at the base of the tree and practice and make sure your knots are right and tight and dressed, and you're good to go.
for sure. Do you have any fail stories of yours actually when you were trial and error trying to figure this thing out?
Oh boy, so many. Golly, it was actually my son's first deer he shot with a bow. Uh, we were in Virginia, Chesapeake, a little place called Ragged Island. And it was the first time I let him sit up by himself. I was about 100 yards away from him, and I was climbing with some sticks, some of the sticks that had the original button and the steps flipped over, and I didn't get that button. I got on the third stick, and I didn't get that button wrapped around, or the strap wrapped around that button very well. So as soon as I climbed up on that stick, that stick fell off underneath me. So I took a ride on alignment on that one. I got scraped up pretty good, but I didn't hit the ground, which is exactly what alignment is designed to do.
Mhm.
Uh, Let me see. Just 2 years ago, my son was climbing down. I just happened to be at the base of the tree. I walked up to him, and he was climbing down. And his platform kicked out from underneath of him while he was climbing down. It was a one stick. So he took about a 2 foot fall. Got banged up pretty good, but again, walked away from it because he had his saddle and his tether all connected. That Lyman ride I told you about earlier is what got me into doing 2TC or one stick climbing, because I prefer to be attached to a tether all the way up the tree, because the Lyman, it's not completely secured to the tree, so you're going to take a little bit of a ride before it catches.
Right.
But other than that, I think I've gotten into a habit of doing a lot of pre-checks before I climb a tree. The night before, I check things out. I'm constantly inspecting my equipment, which everybody should do. Even when you're in the tree and you're sitting there waiting for deer, it's always good to look at your friction hitches, look at your bridge, and kind of look at things, dress things up as you go. But
Right. Yeah.
yeah, I had several run-ins with gravity in my youth.
Yeah. Well, I tell everybody, whether it's your saddle, your bow, your rifle, anything that you're going to use outdoors, I know it might have been great or perfect for you the year before that when you pulled it out, whether it's your chair or whatever, but just make sure
Yeah,
everything's fine. Go outside, open your ground blind up, make sure it's good. Make sure your chair's not squeaking, make sure your bow's sighted in,
you got
make
it.
sure your strings are good, your ropes for your saddle itself, just inspect it, because you don't want to get out there and, accidentally hurt yourself or possibly, really injure yourself,
Oh yeah,
So I, tell people with tree stands all the time, make sure you got your harness on and inspect those straps. I cannot stress that. I've had
you
too
got
many
it.
friends, you know, get hurt that way in the past. Good friend of mine fell almost 30 feet from a tree stand
Ooh,
about 2 years ago.
ooh,
And only thing he did was had a high ankle sprain. You know, he
he
got
was
got
lucky.
really lucky.
He was
Um,
lucky.
but just
Now,
inspect all your gear, like you said, and get out in the woods and bring somebody with you. That's what I always say.
how long did you hunt before you decided to start wearing a harness at all?
So let's see. I started off ground blind hunting.
Yeah,
And then I met a guy in college. All he had on his property when we hunted was tree stands. He had ladder stands set up everywhere.
yeah,
And like I said, I'm afraid of heights. So he's like, I've got a 10-foot stand right here. It's basketball goal height. If you fall, you'll be fine.
yeah.
Okay. Stupid me back, 19, 20 years old, So I went out and bought pretty much that same stand that he bought and put it at my mom's place where I grew up hunting. Um, and I never had any issues, luckily, thank the Lord. But that same year that I bought that tree stand, I harvested probably my third biggest buck that I have here on the wall and about 3 does. But the county over from me, I have a buddy that hunts kind of the river bottom down there. He hunts as high up as he can freaking get. He's got
Yeah.
like a 35, 40-foot tree stand. He like custom built everything. He fell out of this thing
Ooh,
and broke his neck, femur. He broke 4 ribs or something like he got hurt pretty bad. Like he was out for a while.
yeah. Hey,
And stupid me, he was like, uh, you know, I didn't have a harness on.
yeah.
And I'm like, what's a harness? He's like, you hunt tree stands and you don't know what a harness is? I was like,
Mhm.
well, the guy that showed me about tree, or told me about tree stands, I don't. What's a harness?
Yeah.
So his dad's like, well, I'm buying you one for Christmas.
Yeah.
He bought me a Summit, one of those Summit harnesses. Took me outside, showed me how to use it. He said, son, he said, I've been hunting a long time. And he said, luckily, thank God I haven't got hurt. But anytime you go up in a tree stand, anytime you're up in a tree, make sure this is on you.
Yes, sir.
Because you never know what can happen. Those
Yeah.
straps can come loose, the tree could fall, like you just never know.
Yeah.
So I hunted tree stand for about 2 to 3 years, and then I just got one morning. It was opening day. I'll never forget it. It was opening morning, um, gun season. Me and my uncle went back in the backfield. It was kind of windy that morning, but the wind was in my favor. Not so much where my uncle was hunting, but where I was sitting, wind was in my favor. I said, I'm gonna sit here. I'll be fine. Well, this tree got to rocking, and it kept rocking, and it kept rocking, and I'm just like looking up. I'm like, and I could just feel myself moving every time the tree did,
Oh,
and I'm
yeah.
just like, mm. And so my uncle called. He said, I'm not seeing much. What about you? And I said, well, I'm seeing a bunch of deer. I said, but they're just not, anything I want to take right now. And it was freezing that morning. I didn't have enough clothes on. And I'm like, I'm done. I'm getting
Yeah.
out of here. So uh, that day I haven't hunted a stand since. I've been a ground blind guy since, but now you, Trey, and Jay have turned me into a saddle hunting along with my best friend. So I'm gonna be testing it out pretty soon. I haven't got to go out with twice this year so far, and it was in a ground blind. I really don't like to hunt early season because of the heat and the snakes and the ticks and everything
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that. But
Yeah.
I'm
You've
I'm
been
a,
out twice.
I'm
You're
gonna be
doing better
getting
than
after.
me.
Yeah, I'm gonna be getting after it pretty soon. I've been dove hunting quite a bit, but I haven't gotten the deer woods just yet. So
Oh, good.
we'll be really testing out our equipment and gear here pretty soon. October's here, and that first cold front, I'm hoping it's going to be coming in the next couple weeks, hopefully.
Yeah. Yep. Hopefully, it was a little cooler last weekend. I made it out for opening day. But that was about it. Saw some deer, but nothing I could shoot. Everything was outside my 30-yard range limit.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
understand.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
So,
hopefully we get something in there this year.
yeah, I hope so, man. And same to you. Hope you get the buck of your lifetime, man. And
We'll see. We'll
uh,
see. Got to get in the woods. I tell you what, if you like to hunt, don't start a hunting business. It's like being a game warden, you know.
yeah,
The worst thing you could do.
I always wanted to be a game warden growing up, man. But then older I got, my buddy was actually a game warden for like 10 years. And he's like, dude, I don't never get to go hunting. He said, I'm working all the time. And the
Yeah.
days I do get to hunt, it seems like it's either raining or it's like just a terrible day to go, hunt. And the
Yeah.
next day I got to go to work. So,
Yeah. That's
heck
right.
yeah. So, as your business grows and has been growing, like what's the most rewarding part to you about building custom gear for people?
Getting the feedback, hearing people say, people, especially people that might have had a bad experience in a saddle or gotten to something that just wasn't good for them, and finding out that you can actually be comfortable in a saddle. That's probably, as far as the customer aspect, that's probably the most rewarding. I'd say the second most rewarding thing is, when we started this thing up, one of the ideas was to give my daughters a way to be able to earn money, but also be able to work their schedules around the grandkids and get stuff done. And watching that happen, I've got one daughter's uh, a registered nurse. The other one's does hair, beautician. They both quit their jobs to come do this, so it gives them kind of a good steady income while they're able to schedule and spend time with their kids. They'll come in at 6 in the morning, sometimes 9 at night, just kind of whatever time they have to come in. They come in, knock stuff out. That's been nice. Plus, I have the grandkids running around here constantly. We have 8 of them. And we always got them running around here. They don't know them. We'll put them to work, and as soon as they're 7 years old, I'm gonna get them on these sewing machines.
Ain't nothing wrong with that, man.
Yeah,
I'm a big family guy myself. I always have been. I grew up. My dad was the second oldest of 15. My mom was the youngest of 10. So I have a big family on both sides, and
Yeah, man. Yeah,
family's always been huge with me. So that's always good to hear. Like you said, the grandkids running around and just having that family time, man. It's
yeah.
something they'll always remember.
We really enjoy it, and we're small, and we're trying to stay small, and we will stay small. But it's actually a challenge to stay small. Once I've seen uh, a lot of outdoors companies have gone overseas, and one of the reasons they do that is they're trying to meet demand because there's so much demand for a lot of this equipment. So we are never going to do that. So we have to kind of accept the fate of you're going to be small. You're not going to grow much bigger than what you are, which we're fine with. And it's just managing the orders and managing what's coming in, what's available to try to maximize that coming out of this little shop because we have no intentions of growing whatsoever. So it's
For
been
sure.
a little bit of a challenge there, but other than that, man, it's been awesome.
That's cool. I like it.
Yeah.
So if money and materials weren't an issue, you had all the money you needed, all the material you needed, didn't have to order anything, money wasn't an issue. Like, is there like a dream saddle build that you would want to do for yourself, or give to somebody, or build for somebody else, or have you done that already?
Um, I think the only thing that comes close are the military uniforms we've done. There's really no money's not a big issue on a saddle. Um, yeah, I don't see to be able to keep it mobile, keep it fairly light, keep it modular. I don't see you being able to do much more than what we're already doing, and that's industry wide.
Right.
I don't think there's anything I would do different.
Everything you do, I like it.
Yeah. Yeah, but we're pretty happy with what we got. Like I said, we've been running this and tweaking this saddle design for 4 years now. Um, and we'll continue tweaking it and continue making a little adjustments and things like that. But yeah, we like our product, and apparently the customers do because we get a lot of good feedback. I made them. I went and did a grok. I'm not an AI guy. I'm just figuring out the AI thing.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize that the AI, when you ask them a question, especially when it comes to like company performance, stuff like that, looking at it from a customer's point of view, you can ask them, what do you think about custom gear modifications, Cobra saddle? And I was surprised at the feedback. You get really awesome feedback because it hits everything. It hits all the
Mhm.
social media sites. So it gives you a good review platform. And I was able to use that as kind of a judgment of what our customer base thinks of us, and I was pretty happy with it.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
That AI is something different, man. It kind
It
of
is.
scared me when it first started coming out just because
Yeah.
of the capabilities, but using it for the right reasons, it's actually pretty incredible, and seeing how far we've came from, dial up internet when I was a kid. So
Yeah. It's crazy, isn't it?
yeah, it's nuts, man. So
It is.
so people come to you, say, hypothetical question.
Sure.
Um, you meet somebody in a grocery store, they recognize you know you build saddles. Like, what would be the one piece of advice that you would give somebody that is just starting out and wanting to do, saddle hunting, coming from like tree stands or ground blinds?
I usually so anybody I meet personally, especially locally, and they say, "Yeah, I want to get one." I'll tell them, "Well, come by the shop, try one on, hang from the post, see what you think about it, see how comfortable you are hanging, kind of in that position first." And anybody that I talk to on the phone that's brand new, not sure if they're wanting to buy, I recommend that they go find a brick and mortar store that has saddles. And I don't care what brand it is, just sit in it and see if that's going to work for you. A lot of people, you can sit in a saddle and hang from that rope and realize, nope, this ain't for me right off the bat, and that gets you right out. That saves you $300 right off the bat because you know it's not going to work for you.
Right.
Or get a hold of a buddy, somebody that hunts. Your best friend's a hunter. I'm sure he was critical in getting you started in it. If you got a buddy that has one, then you can spend a little more time. You can get a little more elevated because you get 3 feet off the ground. And as you know, 3 feet up is a lot different from looking up to 3 feet.
Yes.
3 feet up looks a lot higher than it does from the ground. So it's a good idea to be able to do that and try it out. A lot of the trade shows, most of the big companies are there, and they have some posts that you can put on and just go see if you like it. If you have that chance, do that. Or if you're just going to dive right in, get it from a company that's reputable, get it from a company that has a return policy and has a tryout policy like us. If you buy a saddle from us and you decide within a week or two that it's not for you and you kept it in good shape, you can send it back for a full refund. I think a lot of the smaller companies have that. Buy from them. That way you're not locked in. That way you're not immediately out. $200-300.
Right.
And that would probably be my best advice right off the bat.
Yeah, when I was outside, 3 feet up, my best friend's like, so 3 feet,
Yeah.
looking up doesn't seem high, but
No.
when you're 3 feet up, your feet are 3 feet up, but
Yeah.
I'm 6'3" tall. So technically I'm 9 feet in the air
Yeah, that's
from
right.
where my head is, my feet are 3 feet off the ground, yes, but the rest of my body, I'm technically almost 10 feet in the air. And it's just like, whoa,
Yeah, it's
I'm up
different.
here. It's different. And once I started, thinking about it that way, it's like if I want to be 3 feet in the, 10 feet in the air, technically I'm 20 feet in the air because I'm 6 foot tall,
Oh yeah. And you're
So
leaning, if you're in a saddle, you're leaning away from the tree. So when you look down, you don't have that visual of a base
right,
underneath of you. You know what I mean? Like you do in a stand. So it's a
right.
little different because you're hanging out away from your platform. There's nothing under your butt, that platform. There's nothing under your butt. So it takes a second to get used to that. But when you do, once you get into it and you decided, okay, this is good, and you start getting a little more comfortable, I think it's the best way to hunt. I think it's awesome.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So what do you think you'd be doing if you weren't building saddles for a living besides
I,
hunting?
I'd still be running around blowing stuff up. That's what I did in the military, and I did for 30 years as a contractor.
Heck yeah, man. Well, I
Yeah.
appreciate your service.
Oh, thank you, sir.
And but yeah, man, let's get into some fun, man. I wrote down some questions for you.
All right. I
Um
ain't scared.
you just answer them the best way you can. It's kind of some fun questions. So if you had to describe your saddles using a country song title, what would it be?
Oh man, I have no idea.
No idea.
I have no idea. I have to think about that one.
Okay, we can come back to that one.
It'd have to be something with a big ass. I don't know what kind of songs are out there with that in the title.
That's hilarious. So let's say a first time saddle hunter calls you after their first sit. Um, what do you think their most common complaint will be? Or have you had anybody complain about that?
Oh yeah, yeah, all the time, and it's usually uh, 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 discomfort. It'll be hip pinch. It'll be something along those lines, and they don't realize all the adjustability on the saddle. So every single time that's happened, literally, I'll tell them, okay, you can adjust your bridge loops up and down, or your bridge up and down your bridge loops. Open your bridge up, move your tether down. The biggest mistake I think people do is they have their tether a foot above their forehead, and generally chin height, eyeball level. Some guys almost down to their chest is a lot more comfortable. You want to decrease the angle of your tether to your saddle. Yeah, it'll be saddle adjustments.
Gotcha. How many times have you used your saddle as a lawn chair in your backyard?
More times than I could count. I got
I
perfect
figured.
two trees that are split just enough apart, and the kids are out there. Grandkids swing on them constantly. I got one hanging up here in the shop. They come in and hop in the saddle and just swing around on it.
That's hilarious. In your opinion, what's one piece of gear that hunters obsess over way too much?
Sticks, sticks for sure.
Sticks. All right.
Yeah,
Elaborate on that for me.
lot of versions out there. A stick is a pole with steps on it, and it's gone from everybody's trying to get down to 1 pound. Something you have to realize with weight with a stick. If you carry a stick that weighs 14 ounces and you're carrying a stick that weighs 1.5 pounds, you're talking about a seven. What is that? A not 10 ounce difference, a soda can's difference worth of weight with the sticks, and you'll spend $40 for a decent stick or $200 for ultralight super mobile stick. That's something that I never really understood.
I understand that. Yeah. All right. Rifle or bow?
Bo,
Vodka or bourbon?
bourbon,
All right. Hiking boots, rubber boots,
rubber boots all day.
all day. That's me too.
Yeah,
Um, if you could go anywhere and hunt for anything, where
that's
you
right.
going? What you hunting for?
Yeah, we got a lot of water access here. I hunt a lot of TVA property. We do a lot of canoe and boat work. So them 17-inch lacrosse are the way to go, man.
For sure. So yeah, where you going or hunting? Dream hunt. Where you going and what you hunting for?
I'm going right here, man. I'm keeping my dollars right here and hunting whitetail on public land.
Okay, that's
Yeah,
different.
yeah. I don't have a lot of aspirations for getting out and shooting elk. Spending $10,000 to go somewhere and shoot something. I'm perfectly happy right here doing what I'm doing.
Do you prefer public land or private land?
I do prefer public land.
Okay. Why do you prefer public land over private?
So when I think of private land, I'm thinking of something somebody lives on, and I call those pet deer. You got a lot of pet deer, you got a lot of opportunity. And I've had a lot of opportunity early on for hunting private land or military land. You have a lot of deer. The challenge wasn't there like it is on public land. I like the challenge that public land presents.
Okay, I like it.
Yeah,
Yeah, most people when I ask that question, they like private land just because of it's less pressured.
yeah,
You got decent access. You can pretty much go in. Ask the landowner what you can do, what you can't do. Once you get nobody's out there but you.
yeah,
But the I prefer or private land simply because I grew up very fortunate to have a farm to hunt on.
yeah. That's nice.
And even now, my best friend's got a few farms that we can hunt on. Only time I've ever hunted public is for ducks.
Yeah,
So I don't really know the wear and tear and everything about public land hunting for whitetails because I've never done it personally. But everybody I talk to is like, man, you got to do it at least once because it's a lot different. Your strategy's got to be just a little bit different. It's pressured land a lot of time, but it's more rewarding when you do harvest that animal.
yeah. That's exactly right. Exactly how I feel too.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, Mr. Jerry, man, I appreciate you getting on this podcast with me, man. I know it's been
Thank you, buddy. Appreciate all you guys. Thank you very much.
yeah, man. I really appreciate what you do for us, for the New Jack Archers, for myself, man. If I can ever do anything for you, man, you just give me Trey or Jay a holler, man, and we'll be there.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that.
So, how can people get a hold of you if they want to ask you some more questions about saddles and possibly get one made from you?
Yeah, you can go to our website. It's customgearmodifications.com. My phone number's right there. That's my personal cell. When you call, I'm the one that answers, and I always answer, or at least I try to always answer. If not, I'll call you back really quick. Um, I don't mind spending 30 minutes, an hour on the phone with somebody to get them comfortable with if they're wanting to make a purchase and get them squared away. You can order online. You can call me and order. We can put it in here. All sorts of ways, different ways to do it. We have Instagram and we have Facebook. I think we kind of have a TikTok, but we don't really do much with it yet. But yeah, just get on the website, give me a call, and we get you squared away.
Sounds good. Mr. Jerry from Custom Gear Modifications, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you hit him up. Check out his website. Follow him on Instagram. All the social medias that he just listed. And just see his work. Like, some of his work is just incredible. Like what he does. Support his business. Like you said, it's a smaller business, and he wants to keep it small. Everything is made in house. Everything is U.S. made. Great guy, as you can tell. Very knowledgeable about what he does. Thankful to know him, man. He's a great guy, and I know anytime I ever hit him up, he's always hitting me back with advice. About me trying to get in a platform and everything. He knows his stuff. So you guys hit him up. This podcast will be out on Apple Podcasts, my personal YouTube page, and Spotify. So make sure you give it a like, comment, subscribe. Helps me out. It helps the podcast out. Just help me out. Help my brother Jerry here out. So any last words or words of wisdom for the listeners, Mr. Jerry?
You're gonna have to cross that line. Come down here, hunt with us, buddy.
Hey, I'm there. Tennessee ain't far. Like I said, I love Tennessee, man. Well, we're in Nashville quite a bit. Me and the wife and my son. We love Nashville. We're in Memphis quite a bit.
Nice.
So you just give us the day. We'll be there.
Sounds good, boss.
Sounds good. Well, we do this 2 Outdoors podcast, ladies and gentlemen. Big game, small game, all game. We do this too. Out.
It's your boy C. Will. What the hell?